stock, crypto, credit moves. I'm back again, YouTube. Today I wanted to just go over the basics of a credit report. I'm just using something that most people are familiar with, which is Credit Karma. So this is my personal credit report. So I'm not putting out any clients' information or anything like that. This is simply mine, and I'm just going over the basics and what actually stops a lot of credit scores uh, from progressing from the to mid sixes, even into the mid sevens. There's a few things that keep a lot of credit scores from increasing. So let's go into this report. Uh, the good thing about Credit Karma, it gives a lot of insightful information just based on your payments, but it's not the most accurate. The most accurate would be like Experian. So I would say when it's time to actually try to qualify for something that you pull an Experian, but these scores should be similar. But all the different banks and entities they pull from different FICOs, but most of the times Experian will give you a good ballpark exactly where you're at. So this is saying that by paying down this card, I guess my score could increase even more. So I have a city balance of 2613. I always recommend keeping your payments on each credit card under 7%. You want to keep your utilization on each card under control. That's the biggest area, in my opinion, that stops a lot of scores from increasing. A lot of people don't realize that it's not 7% of your credit usage overall, it's 7% per credit card. So each credit card, you need to keep your utilization under 7%. So let's just start here since I've already started talking about it. It's the second most important thing, but since I started talking about it, I'll just go ahead and start here. So it's showing that I'm using 1% of my credit card utilization. So I'm using 3,000 out of 300,000 total, and it's just saying that that's a great job. Uh, I like to keep my utilization under 5%, but definitely I would recommend 7. Now the banks are gonna say that it's good to keep it under 30, but 30% is good for the people who are actually lending out the credit cards because they make money. But you want to keep your credit cards under 7%, in my opinion. That's where your credit score is going to remain at its highest, and then you're not overextending yourself because 30% can be a strain to pay off. So let's say like if I just did what everyone else thinks that you're supposed to do, and I actually put 30% on my credit cards right now, that means that I could have balances on my cards of 90,000. I still stand under the 30%. So that's not a good number for me, and I wouldn't recommend that to. I don't recommend that number to any of my clients. So you just want to keep your credit card payments under control. I mean, you always want to set up automatic withdrawals. I recommend because you don't miss any payments. So credit card payment history and credit card utilization. That's at least 65% of your credit score. Just making your payments on time and keeping your credit card utilization under control. So let me see how I'm doing. Um, I recently charged something on this card, so my utilization is a little higher, which I'll knock down pretty fast. So so I'm 19% on one. So when I get this number here down to 7, even my credit score will increase. So it's not 7% overall, it's 7% or lower on each credit card. So on some of the other ones, I got what, 2%, 1%, um, you know, most of them are 0. And there's nothing wrong with having a small balance. It's actually a good thing because when you don't have a balance on a credit card for a long period of time, that history may stop reporting temporarily until you actually charge something, and then that actually stimulates that trade line. So I recommend leaving a little something on it, but just try to get in the habit of paying your balances off like every month, and that'll actually keep your credit score at its highest just by being able to do that. So let's move on to another section. I try to be as transparent as possible. I don't like talking about things that I'm not doing. Let's go back. What we got here? And like I said, each score is different. So they have me on TransUnion at 821, Equifax at 814. Let's go back into the report. Let's see if this pulls me up. Let's look at Equifax. So I guess my score increased 7 points for some reason. So like I said, your payment history and your credit card utilization, those are the areas that you definitely um, want to focus on. And there are two areas that you actually have the most control over. Just making sure that you're making your payments on your credit cards before each statement date. If you pull up a credit report, excuse me, a credit card statement, there's something on each credit card statement that's called a statement closing date or a statement date. That's the date that the information on each credit card is reported to the bureaus. So you want to make sure you pay that balance off at least a week before the statement date, so the information you have is actually updated each month. So I try to always, if my statement date on my credit card is the 15th of every month, I try to have my balances paid down around the 8th. So when it's time for them to report the information, everything is paid off and my score can remain high. So these are the most two important areas, and this is where most people credit score starts to fall because of missed payments. Always have automatic debits coming out your account for your credit card payments or any other payment, and then just making sure you keep your utilization as low as possible. Um, Derogatory marks are important. A lot of times they'll stay on your credit report for up to 7 years. But there's different tactics that I teach my clients and I do for my clients that all derogatory marks can be removed or challenged. So a lot of times you'll have collections from medical providers, whether it's yours or not, they can't prove that it's yours. So there's different areas, there's different strategies that you can get items removed off your credit report. Everything on your credit report is actually debatable. You can challenge anything. I never recommend paying collections because the bottom line, the collection is just it's the middleman. Like they can't even prove that the debt is yours, but they bought the debt from those banks, and they might have bought it for 20 cents, and they're trying to make you pay $500. So there's different ways you can dispute anything on your credit report. All right, so let's go into the credit aids. That's an area, I guess, based off of this progress report I need to improve on. But credit age is just how old your credit history is. So of course, the older you have accounts open, this number, this 3.7 will continue to get older. But you actually want to keep it around about 5 years of history. Mine is low because I just opened up some new accounts. So you also want to make sure you keep the number of accounts you open to a minimum, especially within the course of a year. I wouldn't recommend opening up too many accounts, but let's go ahead. So I don't have any derogatory marks, so there's no reason to open this. Let's go in the area I need to improve on. So saying average age of open accounts, 3.7 years. Oldest line, 34 years. Newest line, 2. So you just want to make sure you keep, like I said, the number of new open accounts to the minimum. because every time you open up a new account, it's lowering your overall age. Showing my oldest trade lines from to the oldest to the newest. That's pretty straightforward. And the least impactful is hard inquiries. And that's another area that I have a red in I need to improve on. So that's just the number of times you've applied for credit within a 12-month span. You want to keep this no more than like 3 or 4 a year because each hard inquiry can drop your credit. So it's pretty much saying hard inquiries from things like credit application can stay on your profile up to 2 years, but they effectively fade over time. So the newer hard inquiries actually deem your score, and your score can actually drop. But it's pretty much saying here they're temporary dings to your credit report. So this just showing my inquiries over the last year, but you definitely don't want to apply for so many things within the course of a year. And the bottom line is hard inquiries are important, especially when you're trying to get credit from like a bank or a car loan. By having too many hard inquiries, that can actually be used against you. So that's pretty much where I want to stop there for the day. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm just sharing what I do. I would love to have you subscribe. Until next time, signing off.